on February 6th, nearing midnight, there was an earthquake. And out of this earthquake, there are 4 buildings that collapsed in Hualien, and we all got shook up, and there were a lot of things that happened. And one of the things that happened was, yes, we did the relief work. Yes, we did all the things that we're supposed to do, distribution, we comforted them, we did all the things, and Tzu Chi, out of all this, I think did a tremendous job in helping the society, helping the cities of Hualien, the county of Hualien, to rebuild. I think we certainly did that. But one of the things that Master wanted us to do, one of the things that Master thought or believed and taught us, and making sure that we know, was that we failed. We failed in one of the very key aspects. And that key aspect was how we can unite our strength together. We have tremendous strength coming out of our compassion, coming out of our abilities, capacities. However, we lack the strength to unite that. And yes, Master's been talking about that to not just us here at the abode, but also to the staff, to the different coordinators, and also to the volunteers of Hualien as well. And then I went back. I had a chance to organize my notes. And on just one of these days, I went back to our notes, and I found out that Master on February 5th, and that was the day that she left home. She left for home. The last day of her trip was on the 5th, February 5th. And then the 6th was the earthquake. So on the 5th was the day that we returned. And then the very next day, on the 6th, nearing the midnight, nearing the end of the 6th was when the earthquake happened. So on the 5th, Master was already talking about this to us. I was there, but to a different group of people, saying about very similar things, how they are working very hard, they have all these very wonderful capacities and abilities, but they lack the strength to unite. But who was Master talking to? Certainly not me. She was talking to somebody else. She was talking to a problem. She was addressing a problem of somebody else. So I was there as a bystander, listening, nodding my head, in agreement, and thinking, this wasn't to me. And I completely see it as a spectator that, yes, the teacher is teaching, yes, the student made a mistake, and the teacher is teaching this perfect lesson. And I'm there as a spectator thinking, wow, wonderful lesson, wonderful. And so who is the Buddha talking to? Who is the Master teaching? Not me. I don't know who she's talking to. I think she was talking to this group of, disciples who did some mistake, who made some mistake. But she was certainly not talking to me. So who is listening? I don't know if they're listening, but it certainly wasn't me. I wasn't listening. And guess what happened? On the 6th, on the 7th, we got the same exact lesson hammered onto my head. It was hammered like drill in. And that was how bad it was. Because we always think the Buddha wasn't talking to me. The Buddha was talking to somebody else. All of these lessons, time and space. Wow. Wondrous, crazy talk. No, it wasn't crazy talk. It was amazing talk, but it wasn't talking to me. So if Buddha wasn't talking to you, you sure wasn't listening. You sure weren't listening. You weren't listening. You were just thinking that was somebody else's problem, somebody else's business. Somebody else raised their hand thinking, this world is too hard. I'm not doing this. And you go like, yeah, those are bad people, bad disciples. I'm never going to be like that. Really? We have to be the one to believe that the Buddha is talking, speaking to us right now. We might not know it yet. We might not believe it, but we better know that the Buddha wasn't talking to just all the people on that Vulture's Peak. Buddha was talking through time. Remember, break free from the space and time, that it was only at Vulture's Peak, that the Buddha was only talking to these people at that time about this. No, the Buddha was talking to all of us at this time in our space to the problem that we need to address. So who's listening? Are you? So this comes down to this particular transcendence. You need to transcend. Transcend what? Coming back to the four wisdoms. This is something that we always talked about. Transcend. Don't just listen. Don't just hear. We hear Master's teaching. We read Buddha's words from the Sutra. But can you really see what's inside? Can you really hear what Master is trying to say? Can you really see and contemplate and know that this is really talking to me, talking to us, talking to our problems, talking to how we can address our problems? If you can believe that, then that is transcendence. That is called turning consciousness into wisdom. Turning our ears and eyes and nose and tongues and sense and mind, turning all of the words that the Buddha was speaking to others into wisdom that the Buddha was speaking to me. Out of all the words, you see yourself, you see your life, you see your problem in the Dharma. And then you will be able to see the Dharma in your life, yourself, your problems. Only when that happens will you be able to combine your life and Dharma, because you begin to see each other. You begin to see Dharma in you and see the you in the Dharma. Then there will be no break in terms of now let me begin breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. And if you forgot in one moment that you need to breathe, you pass away. No, it doesn't happen that way. It takes time and practice to merge something that wasn't there but was already in you, to awaken that, to awake that what's already in you and make that part of your life. The moment you do that, that's when you have the Dharma in your heart. That's when the Dharma is in your action, because your heart will be in Dharma, your action will be in Dharma as well. So that's transcendence. And that is my sharing for today. I hope that through this sharing, we could all see that the sutra means more than that. It's not just the words put together by the founding disciples for the sutra. It's not just the words from the Buddha speaking to a particular group of people in this particular place. It's more than that. Can we see that? And if and when we see that, that's the time when the Buddha's heart is truly our heart. The moment that we really take Master's words to heart is when the Master's mission will become our mission. And that's what we wish for. That's what we're striving for. So every day, let's try to merge our breathing into our everyday lives. So make Dharma as part of our breathing, make Master's mission as part of our lives. And that's what we strive for to do. That's what we strive to do. So thank you all for listening. And I'm going to open the mic up to other people that we could share and listen to everybody's thought. Thank you.
Brother Joe, truly wonderful to hear from you again. Okay, today we have sharings from two persons. Maybe we'll open to Brother Eric first. Maybe Brother Eric? Ready?
Sound test. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, very clear, Ka'an.
Okay. Very good morning to the board masters and to all the brothers and sisters around the globe. Okay, my name is Eric. Actually, today, Brother Joe have shared things that 2 years back I've been learning into. Okay, actually the path that I've gone through is started from Sister Gyotlan, who brought me to this English Dharma group that is back in, I think, 2016. I think it's in March. Actually, Dharma to me is, I'm zero in Dharma. So actually, basically, it's like I could not get any feel of the Dharma at that moment. Okay, but from there I learned, and I want to thank Sister Siu Cheng, Brother Jeff, Sister Tammy, Sister Irene, and so on, to give me a brief insight of the Dharma. But eventually, actually, I cannot get hold of the truth of the Dharma at that moment, until I further on to come for this English 寻法相 here and here to learn more about it. And from time to time, I learn and I try to basically gel myself into it, but it's kind of like difficult to me, basically, and I don't really get the feel of it until there is one time. Actually, I followed the entrepreneur group to go back to Hualien, and actually it's an affinity, basically, because after the entrepreneur group convention, right, I've extended my stay, and of course with my home sister, when we meet each other on the last day, and we actually, for the whole planning is we want to explore Taiwan, but at the end of the day it's like when we met, we just tell each other that okay, we go back to Hualien. So at that moment, we go back to Hualien and we explore Tzu more, actually. So from that time, I have met with one brother in the abode that he has shared me one story of the Statue of Liberty, and this really gave me a very big impact on myself, on my daily life, and so on for the next 1 year. So actually, I did practice, or I should not say practice, but actually, if I encounter any problems or afflictions or anything, I will take this model to solve my problem, but it cannot really solve like 100% or so. But I have to tell myself that this is the story, or this is the sharing that this brother gave me. It's something extraordinary that I can feel it. It is very useful to me. So I practiced that for, I think, probably a year. Actually, I don't really remember the dates until today. I need to share that. I look back at the date. It's actually a 1 year thing. So I found that this brother will be coming to Malaysia. So in my heart, it automatically tells me that it's kind of like to me is really like I want this brother to know that my progress. But when he came and I'm trying to ask where is he and all these things, right, I could not get the answer. And on that day itself, I need to be a volunteer to set up the English camp. I think it's back in July also, or August, somewhere there. So my heart feels that like I really want to meet him, but eventually it doesn't really work out. So what tells me that is I need to carry on to do what I'm supposed to do. So I just carry on doing my voluntary job until at a time that is already quite late. I think it's about 10 something or 11. Then my siblings, brother Edward also working with me at that time, and a lot of volunteers have told us to leave because the next morning will be very busy. So brother Edward told me that no, we have to finish our job. Actually, we have to finish our job first before we go. So eventually I keep on doing until at one time I heard his voice. And suddenly my heart felt a very, it's like kind of sudden. So it's like it's like, I think it's, in reality, to me, it will not happen in this way, basically, but it really happens. And when I heard his voice, then automatically I turn off my head and I call him, Brother Joe. And he really responded, you see. So I doesn't know how to really explain the expression now, but at that moment I feel like he have taught me a lot of things, and from that day onwards until today, anything that I go through in my head, I will just think of the things that he have taught and he has shared, and it really changed me throughout these 2 years. And I just don't still understand why these things will happen in this way. But I will not think that much, but I will take his word as he said that maybe we are someone or somebody in 2,500 years ago. And actually that is the affinity that I really have with him. So you can see that even if he is that far, but I can still feel him with me, basically, because every time when I have problems or affliction or anything, the Dharma that comes out in my head or in my heart is like a natural. It's very natural that, okay, when I have this issue, then probably I will think of some way, something that he said to overcome my problem, and he has solved a lot of my problem or issues, basically, or my challenges, or whatsoever is it. So here I really want to thank you, Brother Joe Huang, that with you, actually, although you are far away, but to me, you are very near to me. And today you're sharing about the in and out of the Dharma and so on. I will not give a long story of that. That reflects me on how actually the Dharma is actually. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will pass over to Sister Jing.
Brother Eric, affinity is such. Okay, the next person to share is also related to Brother Eric in another way, which is Sister Gyolan. Actually, there is no purpose. We didn't purposely select these two persons. Somehow, after hearing Brother Eric, we could feel that affinity and the causes and condition which Master have mentioned, it truly works. Today is the first time Brother Joe shared after 3 months, and Brother Eric, Brother Joe is his great benefactor. Also to us, we are also very thankful to Brother Eric, because he also representing many of us who have benefited so much from Brother Joe sharing and Brother Yo Ping. Okay, the next person is Sister Gyolan. Actually, we have tried asking Sister Gyolan several times, and finally today, just rightly, Sister Gyolan is ready to share. Okay, over to you, Sister Gyolan. Okay.
Okay. Amitabha, and good morning to Master and brothers and sisters. I'm Yoklan. Actually, yes, it's a little bit crazy, I think, this morning, because whatever that I want to say, it's kind of like coming. This morning, Brother Joe has mentioned about sometimes we just kind of like have a rest, sometimes then we go a little bit fast, and yeah, I have to confess, because sometimes I don't really come to Xue Fa Xiang, is because too much of information, and I need to digest slowly. So I actually started Xue Fa Xiang in 2016, I guess. During the first time when I went for master's Xin Fa Xiang, I couldn't understand much because it's rather deep for me, and I don't really have any background of Buddhist teaching at all. So then I had a chance because I actually go and ask around anything or probably any classes that I actually can go through to, so that something that I can understand, which is English lah, because that time the Minani I can't understand much yet. So I have the opportunity later on to come to English Xin Fa Xiang. I don't really remember who actually brought me in, but then it was through the first encounter I started really understand very well. I do not know how things happen, but kind of like coming in through extremely fast. And I was very, very much attracted to what the presentation by Brother Joe about emptiness. It was actually from there I started going in very fast into knowing a lot of things. It's something like nothing that I know, and then eventually it's just based on this one word itself, things kind of like open up straight away. I started feeling very, very happy every time I'll be chasing after this Xin Fa Xiang, going for the English ones and the Chinese one as well. Come to the current one, it's more and more in depth, which I couldn't really understand very much as well. And what I actually did was that in order to really understand, I actually try to implement it in my workplace because I'm actually working with patients. So sometimes I'll be using some of these principles, some of this teaching. And what I found was that patients really capture it extremely fast. And it gives me more motivation and encouragement to further looking into all this. So the first phase of me learning through Xin Fa Xiang is that it's more of trying to get a lot of answers. That's why in English Xin Fa Xiang, last time when Sister Xiu Qing say, anybody got any questions? So I am actually quite eager to actually ask, because it's like, okay, there are experts, so better go and ask, because it's always in order to really understand the Buddha's teaching. During the first phase, I always find that there are a lot of obstacles. So these obstacles, I had to get through it first in order for me to go further to the front. So, and sometimes I apply it. The reason why I apply it is because I wanted to feel and wanted to experience it. And the most peak one was when Master had her last previous few chapter, whereby she kept on telling everybody, come for Xin Fa Xiang, come for Xin Fa Xiang, and not so sure the timing, all this. So I hear the sound that's a little bit of sad and so forth. So that actually, I do not know what kind of experience is this, but it actually tells me that I have to try and understand what she's trying to tell. What is it? So every time this question, what is it, is actually in my mind, keep on popping in and out. So, and I tell myself that I have to go and experience more and more. So when I did had a chance for the past 2 years, where I had to go to workshop in India and as well as conference, and that's when I actually make sense of more and more things of what it means by Dharma must be actually part of myself. And I see the people there, they are very harmonious, because we do know that India, rather poor country, so the people there, they have a big gap of economical status. The one that is actually very, very poor, they just stand there, they don't go and snatch I am safe actually in the town, walking around by myself. And then for this current trip, when I went there, I actually engaged a tour guide to give me more answers to why all these things happen to the people that, because I understand that it doesn't come from there, from that region. So I actually wanted to know what's going on. How is this religion come about? So it's more of like trying to find the root to all the answers. How this thing actually come about, how this religion come about, how the principles is actually developed from there, so that then I can start fixing my own brain box. It's sort of like trying to put all the puzzles together, trying to understand, but which is definitely it's not going to happen to complete it in this life, I guess. But I get to see the people, I get to experience it, and I engaged the tour guide for the culture tour. So I get to actually experience how the people there, so they live to whatever that the teaching is saying, be harmonious all the time, make a lot of good affinity with people, being able to tolerate each other and all this stuff. I see it in them. And that's something which opens up more and more of my understanding. So I guess probably after coming back, which is just recently, so I think perhaps from there I can further understand a more deeper Dharma which Master is trying to teach at this current chapter. So yeah, I think that's my sharing. Thank you very much, Alan.
Cảm ơn Sister Colette. Now, Joe.
Okay, thank you, Brother Eric, and also Sister Gerklan for your wonderful and very touching sharing to me. So to both of you, it is my gratitude. I have this unending gratitude to both of you, as well to all of you who found this particular platform, and whoever the speaker might be, whether it was Yo Ping or myself or others before this, or Sifu or anything, to find this to be useful, because that's exactly how we envision this to be. And my tremendous thanks goes to Sister Xiu for arranging this. And my response to both of you, or to all of you, was that this is what I really believe, is that the Buddha is not giving us the answer. The Buddha is giving us the ways to find the answer. Because through 2,500 years, yes, the problem of poverty exists, continued, prevailed throughout all these time. The problem of caste, the problem of inequality, there are more problems than maybe back in Buddha's time. I don't know. However, the ways to get rid of these problems, to solve these problems, may have progressed. The tools, the technology, and all the systems. It might have progressed, but humanity hasn't. The humanity hasn't changed much. In fact, if it has changed, it's probably already deteriorated. So the Buddha, just like in the analogies, if you remember the analogy of the doctor giving the medicine, hey, if you're not really feeling sick right now, you don't feel this analogy touching your heart, because you don't feel like you're ill and you need to take the medicine. Or you don't even feel that you're ill at all, so this analogy doesn't apply to you. And so that's what I really think, that when I read the sutra, or when I listen to the master, I'm not listening to an end, like it's this, or this is it. I'm listening to this as how she thinks, or how the Buddha process or analyze the thoughts, and see the situation, and therefore what he's done, but the idea was the process. What really, that's the most important thing, because the process and the tools will not change. To love, to be humble, to persevere. Those are always the same tools, and they will lead you to different answers, but on the same path. So to Brother Eric, to be honest with you, I am not actually entirely remember what I talked about when you talked about the Statue of Liberty. I remember I talked about that, and I think it was the emergence of the treasure tower or the stupa. In that chapter, I even had a picture of Statue of Liberty, but but you know what? That's the key. The key was that it was useful to you. And that tool was useful to you. It wasn't the end. Like, you have many obstacles and challenges. We all do. But that was one of the ways that helps you find a solution. And as we progress, like we're just coming off the river, so I'm going to leave that canoe on the shore because I'm now going to begin walking. So I'm not going to have that canoe on my back. I'm going to continue walking. And if I'm going to need another canoe again, by the side of the river, there's going to be something that we're going to be able to use to help us cross the river, because we're all on different paths. So that's why I'm extremely happy that you found that to be useful. But the most important thing is we continue to find these usefulness in all the Dharma around us. And then also that canoe that you have used, or whether it was Statue of Liberty, or it was a canoe that you have used, you leave it down there after you have used it, and after you have really completed, make it into yours, you leave it there on the shore so other people, when they need to, they will also use that too. And that's this idea, is always finding out ways to help us find the solution. No, the master will not give you the solution, because your own problem, your own perspective, your own background, what is the true answer? It differs by the people, but there are all these different ways to get to the solution. That's what the master was talking about. So coming back to chapter 17, all the distinction, if you remember all the things that master has been talking about in the past 7 days or 6 days, it was all about all these different numbers, right? Millions and 300, it was 680, right? 680 billions and millions of all these bodhisattvas in all these different worlds ground into sand or ground into very fine particles and all of that. And they're all doing different things, right? Some of them were doing Toroni, okay? So they're all doing different things, right? Some of them were spinning, okay? Spinning Toroni, right? And then some of them were only preaching. Some of them were very, they persevere, or all of them are doing different things. So one question is, what is this all about, right? Why are you telling us all these different worlds with all these different people doing all these different things? The idea was they all have their own problems to face. They are all finding their different ways to get to their answer. And the idea is the answers, the ways are all different. And that's what the Dharma is. There's only one Dharma, but it gives rise to all these different ways. And all these different people are finding different ways to solve their problems. And now they're doing more than that, right? Some of them have already achieved the first ground of Bodhisattva, some of them second, third, fourth. However many that there might be, there are different levels. That means they're going up the scales in terms of difficulties of problem. Some of them are tackling easier problems like, oh, what do I do with my own affliction? Some of them were spinning or turning. Turning the Dharma wheel means now that it's not just you understanding, but turning it so that other people's perspective, they can understand as well. That's called turning the Dharma. So turning the Dharma is the same idea, that there are people that are just beginning to understand. There are people that are just happily understanding, and there are people that not just understand, but turning the Dharma wheel so other people can understand. All these people, they're on the same track, doing different things to solve their own problems. And that's what the Buddha was telling us, empowering us with the ways to overcome our difficulty. That's transcendence. How we can move beyond our ears and eyes and nose and mouth, to move beyond their basic functions, but to hear more, to see more, to smell more, to taste more, to feel more. And that's what Master is trying to tell us. Not like you need to feel touched, you need to feel hurt, you need to feel warm. No, but expand, and you will know, you will know more beyond that. And the moment you know more, contemplate. What does Master teach us that what we can do? Those are the tools to bring us closer to the answer that we finally seek. Okay, so thank you both for your wonderful and very heartfelt sharing. And yeah, I think it would be wonderful if one of these days, Sister Gyolang, you give us an opportunity to share with us, how you truly, what you see in India, what you saw in India, and what makes you feel, or what was the growing lesson that you get from there. I think those were wonderful too. I mean, these are the true lessons, not just the outcome, but the journey, that we're in this together. So we're especially happy that when we journey together, the two of our brothers and sisters were able to share with us that through this journey, the joy that they feel. So it's just like what Master said. Today, both Brother Eric and Sister Gyolang share with us their joy. That's the first ground of the first place of the 10 different settlements, or 10 different steps of Bodhisattva. And that was joy. The first is you need to feel joy. And it's hard to feel joy when you're confused. So just like what Sister Gyolang said, right? Ask questions. And the answer isn't there. What we gave to each other isn't answers, are ways for you to find the answer. Just like the Statue of Liberty, I still don't know what the answer was. I still even don't remember what it was about, but I remember going up the statues and seeing something. But see, that was how we can find the answers together. And that was the journey itself. So thank you both, and thank you all for making us part of the journey to find the answers that you seek. So thank you. That's our sharing for today. And I think that's enough time for all of us for today. So thank you, and back to you, Sister Chao-Ching. Thank you.
感恩 Brother Joe. Okay, 感恩 Brother Joe, Brother Joe Huang, Brother Eric, Sister Gyolang for the wonderful sharing for today. Our Sister Gyolang, you have heard Brother Joe, right? You still owe us the trip to India, the insight. So we hope to hear from Sister Gyolang again, part 2. Okay, by the way, sorry, next Saturday is the Global Commissioner Training. Hey, hello, Brother Yope. Sister Sister Chinsei, right? Oh, okay, sorry, okay, I'm distracted. Sorry, next Saturday is our Global Commissioner Training, so there won't be any Saturday talk because we have to, all of us have to go for the commissioners have to go for the training. Okay, best wishes to also the next Saturday, which is the third Saturday, we'll gather here again to hear life wisdom from Hualien. Okay, thank you, Pusa, for your presence today. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Masters and Hualien love to our life. Let us please make 3 bows to the Buddha and Master Chen Yan as we depart to apply these teachings in our daily lives. Let us pay our respects to our teachers of life, universal truth. Everyone please rise, palms together. First bow. Second bow. Third bow. Thank you everyone for your presence. Thank you, Brother Joe, Yope, Brother Yope. Sister Chinsei, good to see you there. Seize every opportunity to seek Dharma from the best, the teachers there. So funny. Okay, bye-bye.